So in this video, I want to talk about a subject that I've been thinking a lot of. I want to talk about Kaleidescape. I don't want to be all overall negative about the product. I highly respect what they're trying to do. I really think they make really cool products. I just want to give a little bit of constructive criticism towards their company, their product. I'm not trying to disparage them in any way with this video. I just want to sort of stand up on my tiny little internet soapbox of just under 7,000 subscribers and just kind of voice my opinion on it. You know, my reach isn't like the biggest. There's a limited chance that the company will ever watch this video. I just want to put it out there anyway, because I think a lot of you out there kind of have the same opinion about this, about Kaleidescape. Because overall, I really do think they make a really cool product. I really do wish that I could potentially one day get one. I want to preface this by saying that I've never owned or operated a Kaleidescape, so this is purely my opinion. So first of all, if you didn't know, Kaleidescape is a company that makes high-end media players. It is like a high-end movie / TV streaming service. You know, you buy their equipment and then you have access to their their platform where you can actually buy movies and TV shows. Obviously, the price to get into this equipment is quite high. Talking to the player alone is just about $4,000, and the smallest server that you can buy is $5,000, which is a lot of money. So we're talking a total investment of $9,000 to be able to just get into the service. There used to be a player that you could buy, I think it was a Strato S or something, that you could buy that was like $6,000, and it included a 6 terabyte hard drive, which is something I wish they would bring back, because I understand what they're trying to do with this whole having a separate server versus the player that's separate, and then you have like a centralized pool of data. I get that. I get what they're trying to do with that. I mean, that's what I do in my personal setup. I have a computer, I have a server that holds all my movies, and it's a centralized server. I don't have like movies on every little device that I play. That makes complete sense to me. If you're going to separate the server from the player, the storage prices are an issue in my opinion. That's like the number one. Like $5,000 for 8 terabytes is just crazy. It's insane. I can't wrap my head around how they got to that number, because it's a simple thing. You know, some kind of board, probably some kind of interface that connects the hard drive, maybe a SATA interface or something, or something of that nature, and then some kind of encryption, proprietary encryption that they use, and that's it. You know, it's not like they have like a lot. You don't need a lot of brains in the server to get it to work. And I know for a fact that a hard drive, that an 8 terabyte hard drive is about $100 and something, $130 maybe. I just can't wrap my head around that. If you go up from the 8 terabyte, it's $10,000 to get the 22 terabyte one. It's a slightly better value, but that puts you at $14,000 for this thing. That's crazy money, and I think that's way too much for what they're offering. Do understand that this is like a high-end product, and for people that do not want to build their own movie server, they just want to have a plug-and-play solution that gets you, you just give Kaleidescape all this money, and they come in. You're obviously going to go through a dealer. Their 88 terabyte server is currently $25,000. Sounds like a lot of space, but $25,000. I just upgraded my movie server with 80 terabytes. So I have way more than 80 terabytes. So I have about 100, maybe close to 200 terabytes at this point. Between 160 and 200, I actually haven't tallied it up. But I just added 80 terabytes to my server for $850. Just to give you an example of like the price disparity. Is it worth $25,000 to pay? Yes, 88 terabytes is a lot of space, but $25,000 is just mind-boggling. So I think that the server cost is the biggest problem. I have no problem with paying close to $4,000 for the player. I think that's fine. I think this is a high-end product, and I think all the brains are in the player anyway. You know, that's at least what I think. I would assume that most of the brains for this system is in the player. $4,000 is a reasonable cost, but the storage is just crazy. I think that really needs to come down. It just opens the floodgates for a lot of criticism, because we have a lot of passionate like home theater enthusiasts out there that really, really like this system, and they just cannot get over these prices. And maybe a lot of people can afford it. You know, I could probably afford one of their base systems, but I just can't get over the whole value proposition. That's the problem. I built this theater based on like what is the peak value, what I'm willing to pay to spend money if I know that I'm getting good value for my money. So getting into value, I recently kind of went down the rabbit hole to try to find a Kaleidescape. What is the cheapest way for me to get a Kaleidescape? And obviously that means you're going pre-owned. So I start scouring eBay and I find a Strato like player slash server. So one that's like an older 6 terabyte Strato player, and the seller wants $1,000 for it, but he says that it has a bad hard drive. Okay. So, okay. I'm like, all right, before I like fork down the $1,000 on this thing, let me call Kaleidescape and see if I can actually have this thing serviced to have the hard drive replaced. I did have like a maximum amount that I would be willing to spend on to fixing it. Call it $500 or $600. That was like the most I'd be willing to spend because I'm already spending $1,000 on this thing. So I call Kaleidescape, and first of all, I want to say that their customer service was excellent. The gentleman I spoke to was incredibly knowledgeable, very helpful. No criticisms there. I think, maybe a lot of this money that you're spending is going to like getting quality customer service, which is a good thing. So I call him and I tell him, okay, I have the opportunity. I kind of explained I have the opportunity to buy one of these players, this older player. I give him the model number. I don't remember the model number. It wasn't the Strato S. It was just an older Strato player. It said that it could play 4K. It has a bad hard drive. Can you just I just want to see how much it would cost to fix it. And he says, oh, we can't repair those. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean he can't repair it? He basically just said that the hard drive was not serviceable on those units, and then he checked to see if I was eligible for some kind of some sort of credit. He said that that particular player, which is about 7 years old at this point, is not eligible for any kind of credit. He said that this Strato S, if you had a Strato S or above, that you would be eligible for a $500 movie credit from the Kaleidescape store. I'm like, okay. Sort of left a bad taste in my mouth, the fact that they wouldn't even bother servicing it, even though, I don't know, I mean, it doesn't seem, how hard could it be to service this thing? It's just replacing the hard drive, right? I don't understand why they can't service it. Thankfully, I'm not the person that paid $6,000 for this thing when it was new. Imagine if you're that person and God forbid this thing dies on you. Maybe, at this point, maybe you're like a rich guy and you really don't care. I was like, whatever, so it broke, I'll just buy another one. Or you call Kaleidescape, sorry, we can't service it, but we're going to give you some kind of credit. But, this one was not eligible for any kind of credit. Even though like a $500 movie credit may sound like a lot, but we're talking about you shelled out $6,000 for this thing, and you're only getting $500 of value back because they can't fix the unit for you. I don't understand why they can't fix it. It's just a hard drive replacement. My guess is they can fix it, they just won't, or it's just some kind of company policy that they're just phasing those units out. Don't buy an old Strato player. They probably can't fix it for you if it has a bad hard drive. If you buy one that's used and then it fails like 2 months later, you're screwed. You're out whatever you paid for this thing, and this guy was asking $1,000 for this thing. It's not cheap. Way too much. I'm going to wrap this video up by kind of like giving Kaleidescape, which I doubt they'll ever listen to, and I probably messed up any of my chances for ever getting a review unit of any sort for the channel. I'll have to live with. I just want to give some recommendations, I would say. I think, like I said, I think the player price is adequate. If they could bring it down to about $3,000, people are willing to spend, some high-end like home theater enthusiasts are willing to spend $3,000 on a Blu-ray player, right? So I think that should be like the upper limit of what one of these things should cost. So $4,000 isn't far off from that, but if they could get it down to $3,000, I think that's fine. The biggest problem is the storage. I can't wrap my head around these prices. Whatever you guys are doing with storage, you got to rethink it. Figure out a cheaper way to do it. Maybe use different encryption. Do whatever you got to do, but you got to bring the price down. That's just insane. The storage should start around $1,000 minimum. The 8 terabyte option should be $1,000, and it should like max out at $5,000, not at $25,000. So you got to bring the price down fivefold. So the 88 terabyte should be $5,000 versus $25,000, and the $5,000 server, which is 8 terabytes, should be $1,000. That would open the floodgates. I'm telling you, so many people would buy your product, including me. I'd probably be one of the first to buy it at those prices. Maybe you make a little less money per unit sold, but you make it up in volume. You're going to be selling at least maybe 4 to 5 times the amount of units. You'll be selling more movies. More people will be enjoying your service. I think it's a win-win for everybody. Whether or not you can do it, I don't know. Streaming services like iTunes, Vudu, Amazon Prime, they're just getting better and better every year. Their bit rates are going up higher. Dolby Atmos through streaming is not bad. Most people probably couldn't tell the difference between like the sound quality from a Dolby Atmos stream versus the disc version, and that's just reality. I guarantee you that most people, even like the most die-hard enthusiasts, couldn't tell the difference, including myself. You know, that's just the truth. I'm not trying to like say that there's no value in like the disc version of Dolby Atmos, the true HD embedded one. The reality is you probably can't tell the difference. We got kind of like competing forces here. We got Kaleidescape up here with price. They're up in the clouds, they're up in, you know, La La Land. And we got like streaming services, which is the easiest barrier to entry. Let's say like when Dune 2 comes out, everybody wants to watch that movie at home. They're gonna be selling it for 30 bucks. You buy it on iTunes, you're getting a solid maybe 20 to 30 megabit per second like streaming Dolby Atmos, which is based on Dolby Digital Plus, which isn't bad. Probably a lot of people can't tell the difference. Versus you got Kaleidescape. The barrier to entry is $9,000. You got to buy the movie for $30 as well. Yes, it'd probably be a little better, and probably some people would probably tell the difference, especially with picture quality. I'm gonna get off my soapbox now and just say I would just want to end it saying that I respect what they're doing. I really think they make a cool product. I just really wish they would do something about their pricing, because I really think that, you know, there are a lot of people out there that would probably jump on the bandwagon if they did. If you have any opinions about Kaleidescape, leave them in the comments. Really helps a lot if you can like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.